New section content. New section content. Imagine being 4 years old, sitting alone in a small room, staring at a single marshmallow placed right in front of you. A researcher tells you something simple yet incredibly difficult. Wait 15 minutes without eating the marshmallow, and you will get 2 marshmallows as a reward. Walk away with one now, or hold out for double the reward later. That was the core of one of the most famous psychological studies ever conducted, the Stanford Marshmallow experiment. Carried out in the late 1960s and early 1970s by psychologist Walter Mischel at Stanford University, this experiment was designed to study one fundamental human trait, the ability to delay gratification. What seemed like a simple test involving sugary treats turned out to be a powerful predictor of life outcomes, including academic achievement, health, and most strikingly, financial success. The children who waited were not just more patient. They were wiring their brains for a fundamentally different relationship with reward, discipline, and the future. And that difference, it turns out, follows people for decades. The experiment did not end in that small room. Walter Mischel and his team followed up with the same children years later, and what they discovered was extraordinary. The children who had managed to wait for the second marshmallow consistently outperformed their peers in nearly every measurable life category. They had higher SAT scores, lower rates of substance abuse, better stress management skills, and stronger social relationships. But the findings that truly stunned researchers were the financial ones. As these children grew into adults, those who had demonstrated the ability to delay gratification were significantly more likely to have savings accounts, invest in retirement funds, avoid high-interest debt, and build long-term wealth. Meanwhile, those who grabbed the marshmallow immediately were more likely to struggle with impulsive financial decisions, overspending, undersaving, and living paycheck to paycheck. The experiment essentially revealed that the ability to resist a small, immediate reward in favor of a larger future reward is one of the most powerful financial skills a person can possess. And the earlier this skill is developed, the more profoundly it shapes financial destiny. So what exactly is happening in the brain when someone chooses to wait? Neuroscience gives us a fascinating answer. When faced with an immediate reward, the limbic system, the emotional, pleasure-seeking part of the brain, lights up with intense activity. It screams for satisfaction right now. But when a person consciously chooses to delay that reward, the prefrontal cortex takes over. This is the rational, planning, future-oriented region of the brain responsible for long-term thinking and decision-making. People who are better at delaying gratification have stronger prefrontal cortex activity, meaning they are literally better at overriding emotional impulses with logical reasoning. In financial terms, this translates directly. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, invest instead of splurge, or pay off debt instead of buying something unnecessary, you are exercising your prefrontal cortex. You are training your brain to prioritize the future version of yourself over the present one. And just like a muscle, the more you exercise this ability, the stronger and more automatic it becomes over time. Let us bring this out of the laboratory and into real life. Think about the financial decisions you make every single day. That morning coffee from an expensive cafe instead of brewing at home. The latest smartphone upgrade when your current one works perfectly fine. The impulse purchase during a sale that you did not plan for and do not truly need. Each of these decisions seems small and harmless in isolation, but compounded over months and years, they represent thousands of dollars redirected away from your financial future. Now consider the opposite approach. Choosing to invest just $200 per month starting at age 25, rather than spending it on non-essentials, could grow to over $300,000 by retirement age, assuming a modest 7% annual return. That is the marshmallow principle in action. The person who waits does not just get 2 marshmallows, they get an entire bag. The discipline to say no to small pleasures today creates the financial freedom to say yes to much larger opportunities tomorrow. This is not about deprivation. It is about strategic patience, understanding that every dollar you redirect toward your future is a vote for the life you actually want to live. If delayed gratification is so clearly beneficial, why do so many people struggle with it? The answer lies in a combination of psychology, culture, and environment. Modern society is engineered for instant gratification. One-click purchasing, same-day delivery, buy now, pay later schemes, and social media feeds filled with curated lifestyles of luxury all send the same message. You deserve it now, do not wait. Marketing industries spend billions of dollars every year specifically targeting the impulsive, emotional part of your brain. They want you to feel that waiting is a form of suffering, that you are missing out if you do not act immediately. Beyond external pressures, there is also the very human tendency known as present bias, the psychological phenomenon where people consistently overvalue immediate rewards compared to future ones, even when the future reward is objectively much greater. A study published in the journal Science found that present bias is one of the strongest predictors of financial hardship. People are not bad at math. They simply feel the present more intensely than the future. Overcoming this requires not just willpower, but a deliberate restructuring of how you think about time, value, and reward. The good news is that delayed gratification is not a fixed trait you either have or do not have. It is a skill that can be developed and strengthened at any age. The first strategy is to make the future feel more real and immediate. When you can vividly picture your future self, retired, financially free, living without money stress, the sacrifice of today feels far more worthwhile. Write down your financial goals in specific detail. Visualize them daily. Give your future self a face and a story. The second strategy is to automate your financial decisions. Set up automatic transfers to your savings and investment accounts the moment your paycheck arrives. When the money is moved before you can see or touch it, the temptation to spend it simply does not arise. You remove the need for willpower entirely. The third strategy is to introduce deliberate waiting periods before non-essential purchases. Implement a 48-hour rule. If you want to buy something that is not planned, wait 48 hours. In most cases, the urge fades and you realize the purchase was driven by emotion, not genuine need. The fourth strategy is to celebrate small wins. Every time you choose saving over spending, acknowledge it. Reward yourself in small, meaningful ways that reinforce the behavior without undermining your financial goals. Building this habit loop makes delayed gratification feel rewarding rather than punishing. There is a concept in finance called the compound effect, and it is perhaps the most powerful illustration of delayed gratification in action. Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. When you invest money and allow the returns to generate their own returns over time, the growth becomes exponential rather than linear. A single dollar invested wisely today does not just become $2 tomorrow. It becomes $10, $20, $50 over decades. The longer you wait to spend and the earlier you start investing, the more dramatically this effect multiplies your wealth. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest individuals in history, made over 90% of his net worth after the age of 60. His secret was not genius alone. It was patience. He understood that the marshmallow experiment plays out across entire lifetimes, and the greatest rewards go to those who are willing to wait the longest. The financial world is essentially one giant marshmallow test, and the people who build lasting wealth are simply the ones who learn to wait. Every financial choice you make is a reflection of how you see your future self. When you choose instant gratification repeatedly, you are telling yourself that the present moment matters more than the life you are building. But when you practice delayed gratification, even imperfectly, even inconsistently, you are making a profound statement. You are saying that your future deserves investment, that your dreams are worth the wait, and that you trust yourself to follow through. The children in that small room at Stanford were not just deciding between one marshmallow and two. They were unknowingly practicing one of the most important life skills that exists. The ones who waited were not smarter or luckier. They were simply more willing to endure a moment of discomfort for a better outcome. That same choice is available to you right now, today, in every financial decision you face. The marshmallow is always on the table. The question is whether you are willing to wait.